Hello, my dear community. Day 2, Community Appreciation Week. Looking forward to bringing you some interview training and some salary negotiation training. Hope you caught the resume tips and the job searching tips yesterday. I got a little carryover because I want to say it twice about some of the job searching concepts. I'm going to blitz through some of that. We're going to hit interviewing and my favorite storytelling technique. Then we're going to hit the salary negotiation and some real critical success factors I want you to keep in mind. So get in, say hi. Adrian, thanks for being first today. Everyone, let me know where you're watching from. If you got any questions, put some question marks in front of your questions. If you're in any of my programs, let me know that. Lisa Williams, I do think you were number 3 today. Adrian was here. Let's see, who else? Casey X. Steve Johnson, what's up? Amanda, Marilyn, Claudia, Jose, Pamela, Deb. Fan of Andy, my favorite handle ever. Pamela, Michelle, everybody else. Yesterday was hearts, just to show the love. But today, we're going to be the career lightning rod. I want you to know that as long as I'm here, I will never give up on you if you don't give up on you. And I feel like the power plant emitting the energy, all you got to do is take it and run with it. How's that? Cool? Cool. Okay. If you missed day 1, no big deal. It's going to live in YouTube land forever. It was yesterday. I talked about the professional experience section of the resume. You can check that out if you didn't see it. I also have a resume writing I have a resume writing workshop. That's a paid program, but I have a free resume writing webinar that's 70 minutes. You can catch some more if you want to get more of a holistic view of the resume and my concepts on that. Second thing is we talked about the job search challenge yesterday. It's my way of breaking down the job search into easy to follow goals, easy to follow steps, and a manageable workload that can give you a cadence so that you're repeating the very good activities that lead to results, as opposed to a lot of activities like submitting your application online and shoving your resume into the applicant trashing system. Those are generally not high yield activities, and you wonder why after 212 application submittals, why no one is contacting you. Because systems don't give people jobs, right? We talked about this yesterday. Companies don't give people jobs. People give people jobs. So I want to give us a running start with the job search challenge. I want to talk about feeding the funnel, which I didn't talk about yesterday. I want to carry it over to today. Then we're going to go right into interviewing. Who's stoked? Give me an I'm stoked in the chat. Let me get my slides up and let's get rolling. And just like yesterday, today too, tomorrow, the next day, and the next day, everything in the Mile Walk Academy is on special because it's Community Appreciation Week. Okay, here we go. This is what we talked about yesterday, and I'm gonna go through this in hyper speed, but what I want you to do with your job search is keep your eyes on the companies, keep your eyes on the groups you would enter into or can add value to, the bosses who run those groups, or the management teams who run those groups, or the teammates who run those groups, or the recruiters who recruit for those groups, or whoever it is you can find. But I want you to target 3 organizations a day. I want you to target 3 people, 1 at each organization, and I want you to send 3 unique messages. There's much, much more instruction about the Job Search Challenge on my YouTube channel and in the Job Search Challenge program. Then what we did yesterday was we talked about making sure that you were capturing specifics about your efforts and your results. So don't just make a company list and drive your job search based on a general company list. Try to organize your company into segments so that you can break them up. You know what company type you're targeting. You know who within that specific company group you likely would go after, what group, what boss, what you would say to them, so that you could then sample across your company segments as you run the 3-a-day job search challenge, so that you're not putting all your eggs into one company segment basket, so to speak. So if you have 50 companies in segment 1, I don't want you to target 50 of those as your first 50 reach outs. I want you to take 5 to 10 of those, and then I want you to move on to segment 2, take 5 to 10 of those, and look across your segments to ultimately find Where is it, the company type or the person type or the group type, that tends to be most responsive to me? And responsive could mean anything. Any kind of response is a plus. Yeah, I'd love to talk to you. Hey, check with me in a couple weeks. Check with me after the holidays. Hey, you should talk to the recruiter who's recruiting for this. No, it's not my position. It's Susie down the hall. You're just looking for traction, action, traction, and I want you to keep doing that. And the one thing that I always say, and here's where I want to kind of show you, well, people who follow me have seen this funnel many, many times, but when you think about your job search and what activities will lead to results, I think of it in terms of a funnel that I want you to continue to feed. I drew this picture very quickly about 10 minutes before I was doing a live show, and I think it was 2018 in December, and I was trying to explain, when you think about your job search, if you're going to spend 9 hours of your 10 hours worth or 9 minutes of your 10 minutes worth, but 90% of whatever effort you expend should be focused on activities to get your resume to someone, not through a machine. So researching companies, that counts. Researching target groups, that counts. Researching individuals, that counts. Sending messages to them with your resume, that counts 9 of the 10 hours. That's where 90% of your activity should be spent. But what a lot of you do is you spend it in the middle section where you send a message and then you follow up 14 times. When the only types of exchanges, the only things you should be typing to people are, hey, this is me. I love you. I want to work with you. My coach Andy gave me this great boss hunting template. I'm sending it to you with some customization. Here's my resume. I'm a perfect fit. On you go. Then when they get back to you, where do we meet? What time is the Zoom? Where do we meet for coffee? That's an exchange. An exchange is also, hey, I just interviewed with the hiring official. Thank you so much. Send them a message. Thank the recruiter, send her a message. These are the exchanges. When am I going to hear back? What's the next step? Who's going to get back to me? Sure, I'm available Friday. Those are the exchanges. It should be minimal. And then you want to spend maybe your last 9% prepping for interviews, not researching companies, prepping for the interviews, conducting the interviews, and negotiating your offer, and it only takes 1. Okay, so I want you to make sure you're feeding the funnel. And my answer to most of you as to why it's not working, the first question is going to be, how big is the top portion of your funnel? How consistently are you reaching out to new people? Those are going to be my immediate questions. And then until you have critical mass and quantity, I wouldn't start troubleshooting, because what's my expression? Problems don't bother me. Randomness bothers me. If you send out 10 boss hunting messages and 1 person gets back to you, that's random. If 5 people get back to you, that's random too, because you don't have enough data to draw a conclusion. But what a lot of people do is they have random events drive their behaviors. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to put in the time to get enough data to draw smart conclusions, and then figure out how you're going to take your search and where you're going to put your effort based on the results you're getting, or where you need to troubleshoot. Cool? I just want to drive this home. 90% of your activity, if you want to give yourself the best chance, so I'm talking about probability and odds, you got a 90% chance of getting your job by focusing on the top activities. Who do I want to target? What do I want to say to them? Hit the send button. Cool? All right. Now, when you get all those interviews that you're going to have, I want to talk to you about interviewing. You know how I said yesterday, and I don't know, probably every live show that I've done for the last 8 years, how your resume is a marketing document. It's not a work history document. Can I get an amen on a Tuesday? It's your resume is written for where you want to go, not where you've been. You use where you've been to paint a picture, create a story, a narrative, whatever you want to call it, a marketability, so someone is enticed that you can help them solve their problem. I do that with you by showing you my job searching approach, the people I've helped, how I've helped them, right? So that you can draw conclusions about whether I might be able to help you or whether you want to come to my shows on Thursday or invest in my programs or whatever it might be. I show you how I've helped people to develop in their careers, same kind of thing. What you're doing with your resume in a cold nature is you are expressing to somebody, here's how I can help you. If your focus is on, here's me in all my glory and what I've done, that doesn't sell because people don't buy features, they buy transformation. How many people, you take your phone, you swipe through Instagram, you want to get healthy, right? You see the body with the beautiful abs, and you want to buy that person's book, you want to buy their training program, their app, or sign them up as your training coach or your strength training coach or your dietitian or whatever. What are you buying? You are not buying their program. You are buying those abs, right? You're buying the transformation. You are buying a future you. That's what you buy, right? You don't, at that moment, that impulse, you are not thinking about the 2 hours of working out that you're going to have to do day in and day out and what your kitchen cupboards or cabinets or refrigerator is going to look like now. It's going to be totally different. And then there's a regiment to it. But what you're buying is the future you. You're buying the transformation. Employers are the same way. And the problem is you, as a job candidate, go into interviews and what do you want to do? You want to regale them with how you're awesome and all the skills you have and where you went to school and that you have an MBA and that you took this certification training and that you're PMP certified. I don't care. No one cares about that. That's not what I'm buying. I'm not buying your knowledge. I'm buying the application of what you're going to do with that knowledge in my environment to change my life. That's what I'm buying. So if you can't explain to me how you're going to do that, I'm not going to hire you. But that's what you do. Just like you want to put all your history on your resume and you can't get it down to 2 pages, you walk into interviews and you want to talk about all your skills and projects that you did that don't even matter to me. So I want you to realize when you get into an interview, you are telling a story for marketability purposes, just like you're doing with your resume. The story is to sell you. It's not to relive your history. It is not even to convey the reality of what you did every minute of every day last year or the prior 10 years. Is this resonating? Do you understand this? Have you ever been just perfect for the role, but you didn't get the job? Right? But I was perfect. I had all the skills they needed. So what? You didn't convince them that what you were going to do with those skills was going to change their life, or at least not in a manner that they could understand. And guess what? It's their job to ask you good questions to elicit information so that they can draw good conclusions. The problem with the world is most interviewers don't know how to do that. So while it is their job, it becomes your problem because it's up to you, extreme ownership here. You've got to take accountability for making sure that they get to hear what they need to hear so that they could draw a conclusion that's in your favor. That's all I care about. And don't think for 1 second the world is fair or that the most qualified candidate gets the job. It's the person who can tell the best story, who can articulate their fit and value, and show the employer how their lives are going to change. Get this? So how do we do that? How do we do that? The first thing is I want you to think forward. And I want to give you a running start because I really want to tell you the storytelling formula I want you to use. But the stories you pick make every bit as big a difference as how effectively you tell the story. If you cannot figure out what illustrates your skill set and your marketability and how you're going to help them transform, even if you tell a beautiful story, it won't matter because that story doesn't tell me what I need to know. So it's really important that you think forward, and we're going to carry this all the way into the salary negotiation points we're going to talk about today, because the first 2 things that you need to think about are not what questions are they going to ask me, oh dear Lord. Stop thinking about what they're going to ask you. It doesn't matter what they're going to ask you. You need to tell them what they need to know in order to determine how their life is going to change. I don't care if that's what's your greatest strength, what's your greatest weakness. Tell me about a time you failed. Tell me about a time you had a disagreement. Those are nonsense questions. You don't have to prepare for those. You need to figure out what are their goals and what are their problems and what have I done to help organizations achieve those goals by overcoming the likely problems they have. Get it? When I look at you as a job seeker, I know you want to find a job or a better job or a better career. You all have the same goal. I know that that's simple, but you all have different and unique challenges. Some of you are looking for your first job. You're an emerging professional walking out of school. Others are, well, Andy, I live in the UK and I want to move to the US. You have a geography problem. Others are, well, I'm an engineer and I don't want to be an engineer. I want to be a salesperson. You have a career-changing problem, right? So those are different challenges. It's the same thing with employers. Every marketing department that ever existed wants more prospects. They want them cheaply. They want more prospects cheaply, and they want to convert them at a very high rate so that they can turn into customers. We know this. That's not hard. Now, the company you're interviewing with, if you're a marketing executive, you need to figure out what their struggles are. I coached a woman last night, 4:00 yesterday, and she's interviewing, and she's interviewing right about now with someone about a creative brand director position. And we know what the goal is, but we don't know where the company she's interviewing with, we don't know where they are in the spectrum, what they've tried, what their hurdles are, what they think the solution is, and all that good stuff. This is the stuff you need to be obsessing about before you go into an interview. Not what story am I going to tell about my greatest weakness. It so doesn't matter. So how can you tell what I call a power story, and how could you choose that? You choose it based on the goals they have, which you should know, and the problems they likely have, which you should anticipate. You won't 100% know those, but if you're an experienced operator, you should know what the problems likely are, and you could get in that interview and you can ask them. You can also elicit information from a job description, which will also help you. And I have a webinar that'll help you with how to do this, a job interview playbook webinar, which you can check out. But let's say, for sake of argument, you've got a story you want to tell that's going to greatly illustrate how you have done something in your past that's going to help them with their future. What's the formula that I want you to use? That's what I'm going to take you through, and I'm going to break it all down for you. Okay, I call it my car technique, and this is my nomenclature. And as slick as this may sound, I'm sure there are other people who have similar style structures. I'm not, it doesn't matter to me what you want to call it, but I want to explain to you the principles that I think make this effective. There's a context that I want you to open up with. If you're familiar with the STAR technique, the S is what they call a situation, task, action, result. I'm not a huge fan of that formula in its entirety, predominantly because of the connotations of each of the stages. In the STAR technique, the situation itself is usually task-based, and people immediately think, well, the situation was my boss asked me to, build out this program. That's not context. That's what you were asked to do. In my view, context is a business problem. Why does the story matter? Why is it important? And what it also does is it gives you an opportunity to get them excited by explaining to them what the major aspiration was, or what the huge problem was, or context related to all of that. And we'll use some examples here in a minute, but I just want to lay down the structure for you here. Then what I want you to do is I want you to give them a step-by-step outline, singularly identified, without explanation, to show them that there is a sequence of steps that needed to be taken in order for you to solve the problem, build the program, expand the unit, or whatever it was, restructure the organization, go through the M&A, whatever it is. Because what happens is when the listener hears okay, here are the steps. I'm going to take you through a job searching approach where I'm going to help you find yourself. I'm going to teach you how to market yourself. I'm going to teach you how to bring yourself to market. When you bring yourself to market, I'm going to teach you how to interview, and then I'm going to teach you how to negotiate. That's a step-by-step process, but I didn't explain any of that. But what that says to you is, okay, well, if Andy's going to walk me through 5 steps, I know where he is. I know he's got a playbook. People pay more for systems than they do point solutions. And when he's talking, I'm going to know exactly where he is in the story at any moment in time. And I know where the story is going, and it's going to be easier for me to pay attention. And because item number 1, the context was so intriguing, he's captured my attention. And then with the approach that's an outline, it's going to be easier for me to understand where I am in the story. It's much easier as a listener. The next thing you do is I want you to walk through your outline, your approach, or the steps, and I want you to give a little more color. I call this the second part of the approach, but this is kind of like walk you through the details. And then I want you to bookend the result, which you've already either flat out told me was the issue, because I'm going to make an inference that if you're telling me there was a business problem and you're specific about what that problem is, I'm guessing that you're telling me that because you're going to tell me how you solved it. That's what's going to keep my attention. And then toward the end, you're going to reiterate what the number was, what the issue was that you resolved, or any additional benefits that you ultimately achieved. And that's how you tell a story. So what does that actually look like? All right, when you get with the context, remember yesterday when I said if you're going to write a resume bullet, when you write a resume bullet, you need to have it address one of the great 8 opportunities, accomplishments, goals that an employer has. It was generating revenue, increasing market or brand awareness, attracting customers, keeping them happy or servicing them, growing the organization, keeping the employees happy or raising happiness, reducing costs, and process efficiency. When you open up a story, any story, I don't care what the story is, what the question was, you start with one of these. So what does that sound like? Well, I was coaching a CEO, months back. And we were going through some role playing and her interview storytelling. And she was explaining to me that she'd gotten into this organization. And I was asking her, kind of what her major accomplishment was there. And she says, well, I really helped them, create more value and grow their revenue. And I said, okay, but that right there, that's fine, but that doesn't really tell me anything. And I said, well, how much revenue did you help them grow? And she said, well, in the first year, I helped them grow 17 million. That doesn't tell me anything either. It's just a number. Did you go from 183 million to 200 million? Right? That's one thing. Or did you go from 0 to 17 million? That tells me something else. Or did you go from 17 million to 34 million? That might tell me something else. And she said, well, they were about a $50 million company. So I helped them. I put in some programs that helped them grow to 17 million more. That still doesn't tell me the whole story, because 50 million to 67 million sounds like, you had a good year, right? The market could have been kind. Maybe you walked in and the product was hot. So I still don't have the context that I need to understand where the story is going or how awesome she is. Okay. So I asked some more questions. I said, well, what were the 5 years prior like? Like, were they growing? She said, well, no, they were flat. For 5 years, they couldn't grow any revenue. I said, well, that needs to be said, because if they're flat for 5 years and you walked in and you recreated or blew up their strategy and built them a new one that gained 17 million in the first year after they were 0, flatlined for the previous 5, that's what I want to know. Because the problem was systemic for a long time until you entered. So when you tell a story, you're going to say, I was hired, this organization had been stuck on 50 million in revenue for 5 straight years when there was a $2.8 billion market cap for their products. That's how you open up a story. So I came in and I knew there was at least an opportunity to get them 33% better if I did the right things. So I was hired because I have a background in creating value for organizations by redesigning their strategy and commercializing this and that and the other thing. That all takes 10 seconds to say. Do you see the difference in how I immediately reshape the way you think about me? All of a sudden, I'm important. You were able to get in why you were chosen for this activity. I don't care if you've been working at your company 5 years. You were chosen to do something because. And that needs to be inserted because you immediately get to stuff why they need to hire you and what you're going to do for them. And you've just foreshadowed this with exactly what you did. This story takes 3 to 4 minutes to tell, so they're not too long. Trust me, I can say I was brought in as the CEO because this company was struggling with flatline revenue for 5 years. They were at 50 million, and I recognized that there was an opportunity to immediately raise them at least 33% if I was able to redesign that strategy. So they hired me because of my background in seconds. It takes seconds to say. And you set the table. And I guarantee you that once you say that, everything else that they listen to is going to be giving you the benefit of the doubt because you're just now going to start talking about how you did that. And as long as everything you say makes sense, that's it. That's all that matters. This is so important for you to understand. They are not going to remember what you tell them at all. What they're doing is their feelings are on overdrive as you're talking. So now what they're saying is, she must be important. Wow, she must have those skills. And then when you get in and you start talking, what they're thinking is, she sounds organized. She sounds like she knows what she's doing. That's the signal they're sending up here. That's what you're concentrating on. You're not concentrating on giving them chapter and verse of every single thing that you did. Do you understand this? This is the single greatest issue that I have to eradicate when I coach somebody, is I have to strip out all the dead weight in their answer to make the thing move. And it all starts with getting off on the right foot to capture their attention, because how they listen to you will be totally different. If you start at step 1, they're wondering, where's this going? Why are you doing this? How long is this story going to be? You got me? Okay, so now that's an opener. Then what? Then I want you to take me through an approach. Now, every single approach that any of you do, take what I'm going to give you right now, because this is effectively what's going to apply to everything that you do. So, regardless of what your job is, generally speaking, whenever you take on an assignment, you do some kind of diagnostic. So the woman I'm talking about, the 17 million increase in revenue, well, the first thing she had to do was look at their strategy, look at their customers, look at their product line, look at the segmentation. And so you just want to be able to say, so first thing I did was a diagnostic. Then I came up with a new solution and a new strategy or a new approach or a new plan or whatever. Then I had to present that plan because I needed to get it blessed. Why do you want to say these things? What did I just get done saying? What are you sending? Feelings. What kind of feeling does it set when she says, so I had to develop the new strategy and the business case, so I needed to present it to the board? What do they immediately feel? Oh, she obviously must know how to present the business case. She must know how to put it together, and she must be persuasive and influential because she pitched it to them. Do you see the way their mind is moving 4 times faster than you can speak? You need to let their mind run into the places you want it, right? Not into questions. You need them making statements in their mind about you, not, geez, I wonder, well, hang on a second, what? Right? That's what's happening when a lot of people are talking with a lot of detail. So I did an assessment. I created a plan. I presented the case. I got it approved. Then I flushed it out. Then I implemented it. Then I operated it. Then I gathered the data. Then I improved it. Every story that you ever did in your life looks something like this. Every single person I coach, from engineer to new college grad to CEO to CIO to CMO to director of IT. I got a guy at 4 o'clock today. He's an engineering director. This is what we're going to be working on. So what you're doing is you're giving them a list, and this only takes another few seconds to say. You're not even a minute into the story yet. You with me? You remember, you're not explaining these steps. You're telling them, I have these steps. This is my system. So I did an assessment. I created a plan. I created a business case, presented it to the management team. Once they blessed it, I flushed out the plan. I implemented the plan. I operated it, gathered the data, and then iterated. How long did that take me to say? Did anybody put a clock on that? Do you see how fast that is? Do you guys think I'm nuts? I'm telling you, this works. Okay, then what do? Then you go back. Here's the most important thing. Why are your stories so long? Because you want to what? Explain what happened, right? I don't want you to explain what happened. I want you to give them the ingredients so they can do what? Draw a conclusion about what? That you know what to do. So if the CEO candidate said, well, I did a diagnostic, she doesn't have to say, okay, so I got there, I met with everybody, I figured out who I needed to talk to, then I realized if I wanted to develop a good strategy, I was going to need to talk to everybody, hold a requirement session, look at their integrations. No, you don't tell a story that way. You say, so I did a diagnostic. The most important thing about their strategy was I needed to make sure that the strategy was holistic. So I wanted to cover all the groups, sales, operations, engineering, customer service, marketing, blah, blah, blah. So I looked at all the groups. I looked at the product lines. I looked at the customer segmentations. We had customers on 5 continents. I looked at all 5 continents and I assessed where our products were selling, what the revenue was, and what the profit line was. That's it. On to step 2. So you speak in inventories. This is a big freaking deal because you just want them to know you know what to look at. Remember, this is a successful story. She already told them. I made $17 million. You with me? This is really, really a big deal. Inventory it. You only use information that sells you. I had a woman one time we worked, she's in the UK, and she was launching a flapjacks line. The line already existed, but they had 0 customers below 50 years old. So they needed to remarket the package and figure out how to reformulate the packaging of the product line so it would appeal to a different demographic. So we're working through her story. When we get to the assessment phase, she said, well, Andy, I said, well, what data did you gather? And she said, well, I needed these customer insight information, and this customer insight information included blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay. And I said, okay, so we're practicing her story. And she said, well, but there was a team of consultants from Boston Consulting Group that had to spend like a month gathering this data. I'm like, that's dead weight in a story. You don't need to say that. You don't need to say that a whole bunch of people had to run around and gather the data. Just say, we needed to gather the data such as boom, boom, boom. And the reason that was important was so I could see, so I could draw the conclusion, so I could make the recommendation, right? You don't need to explain every bit of the story. And that's what a lot of you do. You do it in your resume and you do it in your storytelling. Got to get out of that. What information tells the story that you need to tell, that markets you best, that explains to them, I would do this for you. What illustrates that? It's for illustrative purposes only, to sell you only. Not to relive reality that they don't care about, nor will they remember. And then the last thing is, then just give them the results. Okay? So what happened was, after I got through and we implemented my plan, in the first year, we were able to generate that $17 million. We had expanded our customer line to include blah, blah, blah. And it positioned us for hypergrowth for the next 3 years, because then we grew by doubling every year for the next 3 years. You with me? Who loves this storytelling formula? Can I get a heart in the chat if you love it? Marilyn Lee, for car, will the answers be too long? No. Need to be 2 to 4 minutes? Yes. How can I be more precise? Do exactly what I said. Sometimes the initial interview is only 30 minutes. The initial interview at 30 minutes is not interested in going into many, many stories. They're interested in saying hello. All right. So wait, now I do want you to drive that home. I do want you to put those hearts in the chat if you use this. And I do want you to go watch the Job Interview Playbook webinar. It's free. Kara, can we drop that in the chat? Let's drop that in the chat. I know I get amped up about interviewing people, but it hurts me when you're so awesome, but you just can't convey your awesomeness in a bite-sized package that sells you best, because you want to add all these albatrosses around your neck with dead weight words that don't do anything or paint a colorful picture. So if you want more about why this works, in Interview Intervention, I talk about my original storytelling formula and the areas that it needs to hit. And a big part of being successful is capturing their attention and keeping it, talking in language they understand, showing them the organization to your story. So while this book came out in 2012, so it's a dozen years old, the principles I'm sharing with you today are very much in alignment with what I originally wrote many years ago. And so it's really me trying to, as I've worked with many, many more thousands of people and seen many, many more thousands of interviews and just gotten better at this, I'm trying to give this to you in a packaging that I think you can really understand. And I'm continually trying to formalize it so you can take the crutches that I can give you and just add the meat on the bones. Cool? Cool. All right. So remember, I'll send this to you anywhere in the world, $7 US, give you the ebook, which is $9 on Amazon. That's kind of a pretty good deal. All right, let's look at, can we look at some questions? James, you're loving the job search challenge. You were the guy yesterday who I gave that to, and I think you were the one who was getting some heat from the missus. Hope that relaxes everybody. Serena, Job Search Bootcamp is the most impactful program I've followed for impacts on mindset and attitude. Right, we don't just teach you about job searching here. Remember this, if you're gonna go through an experience, I want you to gain the benefits of the experience. Job searching absolutely sucks. That is a capital T truth. I know it, and it doesn't matter who you are. It's stressful, it's frustrating, it's confusing. You get a lot of bad advice. And so I want you to gain the benefits of going through that process. So my teaching, that's what I want to do. I want to give you lifelong skills, not transactional skills. Let's see. Todd Horner, some powerful stories involve a lot of steps. How do you state and restate 8 with color in a short time span? So I could blitz through those in a dozen seconds. Remember, the first part is just tell me what you're going to tell me. So I went through a methodology. If I was going to tell you, Todd, there's 5 steps to your job search, there's no way to shortcut it. You got to do them all well, because you got to start in the right direction so you know where you're going. You got to be targeting the right stuff. Right, start in the right direction, but you got to be able to sell yourself so that you can actually generate the interview. And once you get the interview, you need to be able to sell yourself and so on. I could say that very quickly, and then I could go back and give you the highlights and the inventories of what's in each. I want you to do the same thing. And you know what? Let me show you something. Todd, your name is new to me. So let me see if I could do this for you. All right. I just very quickly talked to you about interviewing. And I said I had an interview intervention book. Well, I have an interview intervention training course, and it teaches you how to get ready, how to tell your stories, how to introduce yourself, ace in the actual interview. So how you get ready for interviews, how you break down the job descriptions. We've got lesson after lesson on how to do that. We've got job interview types and formats. Maybe it's a screen, maybe it's in person, maybe it's with the hiring official, maybe it's on Zoom. There's role plays. There's all the winning after the interview. There's a whole bunch of stuff. And that's an $800 program that Todd Horner, I'm giving you for free. So just go see Kara, and then you won't have to worry about how to get the 8 steps in a short time span because it's all in the program. Just for showing up and asking me a good question. All right, death before decaf. Who is that? I have worked. So Todd Horner, welcome to the Mile Walk Academy. Premium programs. Okay. I have worked at agencies where I worked on proposals and pitches, responses for clients. Ultimately, the clients decided to go elsewhere. How do I convey value I brought in those scenarios? Well, if you created the proposals, how many proposals have you created? Did you build a strong proposal building methodology that included inventory, the steps, or whatever? And I find it hard to believe that every single proposal you worked on was a no-go. And so if every single proposal that you worked on was a no-go, I probably wouldn't even be venturing into stories about that organization, and I would try to find others. But when you say ultimately the clients decided to go elsewhere, I don't know how many of these proposals you put together, but quantity and the reps matter, and the methodology matters, and you win some and you lose some. So I would want much, much more information on how to approach that, because you need successes. You need successes in your stories. Tracy A., how to avoid being redundant and repetitive when sharing results. I feel that I'm repeating what I previously said over and over. There's absolutely zero reason to repeat anything over and over. You saw the story. I saw that there was an opportunity, if I did things right, to raise the revenue at least in 33%. That's right. Give or take. That's what it was. 17 million. So 15 to 20 million, you could say. And then you could say, and at the end of the first year, it was 17 million. And then you add on top of that the benefit extensions, how you positioned for the long term. So I built this, I'm a project manager, and I built this customer relationship management system. And we were losing 50% of our customers a year, which meant we were losing 10 million in revenue per year. So I was responsible for putting it in, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward through the story. At the end of the day, after 6 months, we checked the numbers. We got all the 10 million back, and we gained even more. Or now we minimized the revenue in the attrition in the future years. So we were able to reap those $10 million benefits year over year for the next however many years. There's no need to be repeating just to say it twice. You don't have to do that ever. But it's okay to say, and that's how I made the 17 million. And that's how I was able to get everybody on the same page. Or that's how I was able to put, and secure 3 new partners or 3 new clients or whatever it was. So without hearing the exact example, but I could tell you flat out, there's no reason that you need to repeat yourself over and over. And by the way, to say it twice, once at the beginning and once at the end, that's not a big deal. Niels, how to avoid repeating the points in each A2. You're not repeating anything. So when I feel it is looping, no, let me go back. This is a great question. Okay. So in order to launch the new product line, rebrand the product line, I did an assessment. I generated 3 alternative solutions. I picked one and I presented the case to the management team. Once I got it approved, I built out the entire plan. I implemented it. I operated it. I checked the data. I built the dashboard, checked the data, and then I iterated. That's all I said. There's the whole section. That's how you say that. So to take you through each step, when I did the assessment, I needed to Evaluate the customer segments. I needed to look at the geographical locations. We needed to break it down by demographic. I needed to do market research to make sure that I understood what people under 50 were buying. None of that is repetitive. I'm giving you now the inventory in step number 1. So once I had all that data, I was able to create 3 solutions, one of which was, we're going to put the words protein and fiber on the packaging because people under 40 were buying products with those labels. Bang. That's my answer. That's my whole solution. I did all this stuff and I immediately saw it. Wait, I have to build it and carry it out, but I have my plan. Then I took my approach and I made sure that when I presented the business case to management, I had all the demographics, all my conclusions, 3 alternatives, my recommendation, why my recommendation was the best, what the governance of the program needed to be, what the budget was, what the ROI is, what the cash flow payment payback period was, and the budget I needed was 200 grand. Bang. Next step. They approved it because I'm a genius. So I then built out the team. On the team I needed, boom, 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 boom. We built it out. We put it in place. We launched it in a pilot store. I looked at the data after 6 months. This is the story. Do you see the difference? Do you see how fast I could blitz through this? You got this? What else is going through your mind right now? Well, Andy, what if they ask me, tell me about a time where you disagreed with somebody? Remember that story I just told you about the Flapjacks launch? Well, when I had to present that to management team, the Capo de Capo, he didn't like the initial solution. So I had to, whatever, tell him. And think about this. I already know it's a successful story. I already know you convinced him. So this is why you're not preparing for all those ancillary, silly, stupid behavioral interview questions. You get this story down. This story is your gold when you're going into a future employer that needs you to be a product innovator or a product launcher. I didn't repeat anything, right? But you knew I was in the diagnostic stage. You knew I was in, so to develop the plan or to create the solution, I had 3 viable options. The one I liked was. You could say, and I also considered whatever, but who cares, right? That doesn't matter. That's extra words you don't need. Remember, all they're looking for is, wow. She knows how to research. She knows how to draw conclusions. She knows how to present and convince. She knows how to project manage. She knows what data to look at. She knows finances and return and whatever. Do you see the difference? When you start looking at, you're sending feelings. That's what you're doing. Cool. Okay. Who asked that question? Niels, $800 product for you. Go get the interview intervention program, support at milewalk.com, because that was so awesome. Okay. Let's see. Coach, I followed Andy's program last year and landed the job of my dreams. His stuff, who said this? It ended up being a contract, and I knocked it out of the park in the first 90 days just following Andy's steps. Awesome. Who said that? Well, can we give whoever that is a big shout out? All right, let me go on. I want to go on to salary stuff. Are you guys loving this? I don't think I asked for a like yesterday. Please make sure you like the video. Please make sure that you share this because people need help. They really do. They really do. Please share it with your community. There's 166 of you. If each one of you shared this with your community, like posted it on LinkedIn or something, how many people will see it? 100,000? More, probably. Power of numbers. Okay, let's go. All right, so make sure if you want more on this, you go to the interview intervention. The job interview play. Well, you can get the interview intervention book. Get the job interview playbook webinar. Sign up for free. And Kara, can you please make sure to put that in the chats? All right. Money. Let's talk money. One of the things that I want to cover with you on compensation. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make, I see them make a lot, but one of the biggest ones is you make assumptions about what the job is going to entail. You make assumptions about what the company can afford. You make assumptions about that the job description has to be the job description, meaning whatever you're interviewing for has to be whatever's on their silly piece of paper. And none of that is true. There's no such thing as market pay, because your pay is determined on a day that you transact when you sign the employment agreement based on what that company was willing to pay for you on that day. It doesn't matter what they pay their team. It doesn't matter what they paid last year. It doesn't matter what they think the market pay is or how much they think your actual skills are worth. None of that matters. There's a whole host of things that matter. I'm about to tell you what the 5 biggest ones are. Okay. And so I want you to realize when you go into an interviewing process, if any of you ask me, well, the job is above me, the job is below me, should I interview? The answer is yes. The answer is always yes, because I'm about the art of the possible. The exceptions to the rule are, but Andy, I absolutely love my job and I'm working 12 hours a day, so I don't really have time to kick the tires. Then fine. Then go off and be happy and just be too busy being happy in your 12-hour-a-day job. So I want you to think about these 5 things. The first one is they have goals. What are they trying to accomplish? Remember when I said obsess about them? And when I said obsess about them and don't worry about stupid stuff like what's your greatest weakness and tell me about a time you overcame a challenge. Forget all that nonsense. I want you to think about what is it that they are trying to accomplish. And if you don't know what that is, then my first remark is going to be, then why are you even interviewing for the job? Because you obviously don't know what that job does. Or if you're a new professional, that's different. You might not truly understand, but you've got Andy AI if you're in my program, and you can ask Andy AI. But generally speaking, what are the goals of the unit? What are the goals of the team? What are the goals of the individual position that I'm trying to interview for? These are drivers that determine whether you get hired and whether you get paid. What is it that they're trying to achieve? I always use this example because it's always so true, but I'm a small business career coaching services that I provide to individuals who want to find jobs and thrive in them. I'm always interested in having more people come to my Thursday live show or get on my newsletter, right? I want people to discover me so that they can learn about my teaching, see if it resonates with them, see if my shtick and my style and my direct approach that's so jovial and entertaining and inspiring resonates with them, as if it would not resonate with every person on the planet. You know what I mean, right? So I always want so that to me is marketing, right? There's a level of attraction. Well, I always want more leads. Every marketing department generates the leads. And I want to do that without advertising, so I want 0 expense. And I want all the people that come to my Thursday live shows to buy something. Wouldn't that be great? Right? That's what I want. Well, that's my goal. Well, in my mind, when I hire somebody to help me with marketing, I have a metric in mind. What are my goals? If you said to me, Andy, I'm a marketing genius, and I'd love to know what your metrics are for success around your goals, and I say, well, geez, if I don't do anything and I don't show up and I just hide in my office all day and no one sees me and I don't do anything or send an email, we get 100 and some odd leads a day, thanks to YouTube and LinkedIn and whatever. I'd love to 10x that a day. That's my goal. Can you get me 1,000? Instead of 100 or whatever it is, right? That's our goal. Now, what if you can get me 10,000 leads a day? Would I not want to pay more for that? Of course I would. But you have to know that in order to know if you can provide more value to me. You need to know what my goal is. So why are you quitting a job before you even know what that is specifically? Then, what are the problems? Well, Andy, what problems do you have in getting the 1,000 a day? I don't know how to run a Facebook ad. I don't know how I don't know where to go to find the right kind of people that will buy my products. That's my problem. It isn't that I wouldn't spend the money. I'm happy to spend the money if we get the results, right? So I have a I don't know what I'm doing problem. That could be. Somebody else might have a their videos stinks problem, or they just don't have a lot of content, right? But you don't know that until you talk to me. But you could speculate because you're a marketer and you know there's a finite number of issues in marketing. Andy, what do you think your solution is? Well, I think if I hire a marketer, my solution is to get them to evaluate my content, chop it up, circulate it, run an ad, and just ask me to tell me what the budget needs to be. And that's my solution. And so for that, I have a job description that says you need to be a marketer with 5 years of experience, advertising on Facebook and blah, blah, blah. Right? That's what companies do. They have a solution in mind and they have a profile in mind of what the person's going to be, and what else? They have an estimated cost. That's the salary range. Okay. All of these are at play, and all of these affect whether you get hired and what you get paid. How many of you are guilty of looking at a job description and thinking, well, that's too low for me, but I want to interview there, but I'm not going to do it? Or that's too out of reach. But what if you came to me and you said, well, Andy, I could get you 10,000 leads a day, not 1,000 leads a day. It's a matter of budget because I know how to do this, and here's your solution. And it will only cost you half of what you think, and I'll be able to do it twice as fast. Would I not want to pay more? Would I not reshape the profile of the individual? And so now it's not a 5-year person, it's a 10-year person. Or what if you come to me and you say, Andy, I see you're looking for somebody with 5 years of experience, but I'm telling you, I did this exact thing for the last year for this other career coach. Here's what she had. Here's what she was getting. Here's what she was doing. Here's what I changed. And in 2 months, I was able to tune all the ads to get her this. And what is that person going to do? They're going to take me through my car technique and tell me exactly how they did that. Do you see what I mean? You're trying to increase or decrease. Maybe I have problems so badly that I don't even know it, and you're going to tell me what those are, and you're going to say, there's no way a 5-year person is going to know how to do that. Because they don't have enough experience. And this is a very, very sophisticated problem that entails these kind of ingredients and these kind of solutions, and this is what you need to do to overcome it. Okay, well, I didn't even know how bad off I was. All of these things can be manipulated. How long do you get to do that? The entire interviewing process. Follow me? Okay, so what you need to do is you need to figure out throughout the entire interviewing process, what does success look like? And what does success look like has factors. Well, what areas are you going to be covering? What are your specific responsibilities? What are those goals? Okay, so you're going to come in and you're going to run my marketing, and your goal is going to be lead generation. Then we're also going to look at the expense of the lead generation. Then we're going to look at the conversion rate of the lead generation. It does me no good if you're generating me tons of leads if none of them buy anything. It just costs me money. So I need to know what that is, and I need to know how we're going to measure it. By day, by week, by month. I need to know what matters to you more, what the priorities are. Do you want me to help you market your job search coaching programs or your leadership coaching programs? Whatever it is, you have to know these things. And then, Andy, what resources are you going to kick in? Is Kara going to help me? Do you have the budget to do this? All of these things need to be evaluated in what success looks like. It's not just number 4. You follow me? And because if you don't have these things, there is absolutely no way that you can make a counteroffer to show me that you're worth more. Does this make sense? How many of you try to make up a counteroffer and say, well, that company over there is paying more for somebody with my skills? I'd say, good, go ahead and go work over there. But to me, you haven't convinced me that you're actually going to produce the results I need for me to raise what I'm going to pay you to be commensurate with the value you're going to contribute. Well, you need to be able to show me how you're going to take me into a place that's better than I even thought of. And by the way, you could say something like, Andy, I can help you achieve your 10,000 a day or 1,000 a day leads, but it'll only cost you a fraction of what you think. So that's what I want. I want you to make sure you understand what success looks like. And somebody's saying, what's this? I disagree with some of this. Sometimes the delay between what you are looking for and what the present is way too, I don't even know what that means. So I'm telling you, all of these are at play all of the time. And what you're experiencing when you go in, it could be a random function of one company, but it doesn't even matter. If I say, no, I'm dead set on this is my rate or this is what I'm willing to pay, that could be a function of that's how much I value it. And much of the time, people who say these aren't at play, I would simply say to you, no, they're not at play for you because you didn't convince the employer that you were worth it. You didn't make the argument enough. So if you're going to tell me that you're going to create more value, you're going to need to show me how you do that. And then you're going to need to show me explicitly what that's going to be worth to me in order to convince me to open up the pocketbook. I may or may not be willing to alter the responsibilities, but that doesn't matter to me, even if the responsibilities are the same. But the profile of who can do those responsibilities, I could completely change your opinion on that, right? If I what? It doesn't matter to me how many years of experience you have. If you explain to me what you can do and how you can do it, I'm willing to give you a chance. Don't think in terms of those limits. They're all at play. All right, next thing is, all right, so I want you to think about it this way. If you're actually going to make a counteroffer, you've got to be able to know what the goal is and whether you can increase the goal or accelerate the goal. Meaning, I could get that up and running faster for you, which means it costs less. I can actually get you more of. You want 3 partners, I can get you 10. Okay, can I increase it or can I accelerate it? You're always thinking in terms of profit. Next thing, what are the problems? Have you solved those problems or do you know exactly how to solve those problems? If you cannot convince me that you've either seen it before or if you're talking about the future and in my environment, what you would do exactly when you get here, that makes complete sense to me, I'm not gonna favor that. So you need to be clear on not only what you're going to achieve, but how you're going to achieve it and why it's going to work. I want you to ask yourself this before you're asking for more money. The next thing is, have you implemented that solution? We've tried to hire people to run Facebook ads for us, and they say how successful they are with helping coaches, except they were not successful in helping us. Why? Because we're selling a more complicated product. But I was willing to give them a shot, and it was clear they were not equipped to do it because they hadn't experienced something like us before, even though they had 169 references. So have they implemented the exact solution, or do they know what to do? Or do you have a new creative way for me to actually do something? So I used to pay somebody, actually 2 people, to take my video each week. Somebody watched it, they sliced it up, notated what the topic was of either the teaching portion, the question you asked me, or whatever, to create a video. That video that had to be watched by somebody at a slower rate, evaluated by somebody at a slower rate, segmented by somebody at a slower rate, and then turned over to a videographer to actually cosmetically cut and do whatever that he was going to do, something that cost me almost $100,000 a year. We now have a system that I spend $300 on, and Kara runs it. So there's some of her time that's an expense, and it automates it, and I get a better product than the 2 human bodies could do for me. All right, well, that's an innovative solution. Well, I now have almost $100,000 of free cash that can be reallocated. I could give some of that to you. I'd be willing to pay more if you saved me a whole bunch. So is the solution different than what I think it is? No, you don't want to do that because even though you think you want to build that platform, you don't because of this. Can you convince me of that? What else? Have you substantiated, irrespective of how many years of experience you have, what your experience is, what your troubleshooting skills are, whatever skills are that you have you substantiated for me that you can actually do this job, achieving these goals, overcoming these problems? If you can't do that, then I might not be willing to change the profile for you. This is only if you need to change the profile. Or I coached a guy a while back, and they were going to hire him to be the director of IT. And we were looking at getting him a salary increase in the negotiation. And he was able to take on a whole nother person's job without them having to hire that person for the entire year. And that other person probably was $120,000. And he could handle it as a side job under his purview. So we were able to negotiate more money because we saved them money because his profile included experience with those functions. And this was a person who, when he got on the initial phone call, the hiring official said, here's our top salary. If it's not good enough for you, we can end the call right now. And their first offer was 30 grand higher than their than what she said in the first phone call. And the out the door offer was 50 grand more. So what happened between the time she said she couldn't pay any more until the time he actually was hired? He changed all these things because he gave her a reason. So you've got to look at this stuff before you do the counteroffer. Now, I wanted to just get your mind right here. There is more because I have a free salary negotiation workshop. You could check this out. I would strongly recommend you watch it. There's more in there. There's more prescription in the salary negotiation workshop than I gave you today. But I want to make sure we can save time for your salary questions. And before I go into the salary questions, I want to give you a reminder that everything in the Mile Walk Academy is on special through Friday night. So go in here. If you want to check out my signature program, the job search coaching program, just click it. You can go to the page. You can actually see a whole bunch of success stories, all the enrollment options, everything that comes with it. This is the entire kit and caboodle, and it's multimodal, so it's asynchronous and all video-based, self-paced. But there's also live group coaching. I mentioned we're going to be meeting on Thursday and Friday to be going through that. Actually, we're meeting on Thursday and Friday. I'm going to be talking about some year-end stuff on Thursday. We're going to be doing some, I think, resume reviewing on Friday, some other things. But this is also includes online support and Andy AI. If you want to know how some of these people are using the Andy AI clone, check it out. Right now, this is a great deal. I know it's expensive, but there's a ton of value in here, and it's really going to change the way you approach how you actually look for a job and the job you attain and what you can get paid. I know it might look like a lot of money, but if you earn 50 grand, it takes you a week to earn this. How long have you been looking for a job, or how long have you been unhappy in your current job? And you're going to tell me that you and I together can't find your job 5 days faster, not to mention, but I will, how much better you're going to interview, how much better you're going to negotiate. Not to mention there's lifetime access, not to mention there's a whole host of other stuff, a great community here. So this is the signature program. I do resume reviews and one-on-one coaching sessions. If you need a service like that, there's a separate enrollment for the resume review and for the coaching session. But that also is, some of that is included in the VIP pack, but you can look at all the details. And if you have any questions, let us know. If you are already a member of the Mile Walk Academy, we give you dollar for dollar trade up on your job searching related programs. So you don't pay the $9.97, you'd pay whatever the difference is between what you kicked in earlier. You can check it all out when you get a chance. And then you can also see if you only want point programs, you can check out those, and we have whatever those rates are. There's a lot of good programs there that you can check out. And so that's all I really want to say on that. And Kara is flooding the Slack with questions. Let me see. Death before decaf. I cannot begin to express how much value this community has brought me. I am not affiliated, just a happy member. It's also lifetime access. That's true. And wait, that's true. And wait, you are welcome, Death Before Decaf, whoever you are, my beloved boot camper. So we appreciate you. And okay, wait, I love this. So hold on. So yesterday, hang on, let me get this. Jeff, let me see if I can do this very quickly. All right, Jeff Moreau, how you doing, handsome? Look at that guy, what a face. Update. Yesterday, I asked a question about my boss hunting results. You did. I went back to do a full analysis of my messaging, and my changes have already yielded positive results. I love it. Well, you need the data, you need to troubleshoot, and you need to adjust. I love it. Can we give him a huge high 10? Let's see. What else? Jason and the Argonauts, I am going to be your hype guy today. You are pumping out the knowledge, tips articulated perfectly, and put in perspective the fact you are doing this for free is a blessing. Not only am I doing it free, I love it. And how about Niels and who else we gave? Who else did we give another interview intervention program to? So people are getting some good stuff. And Coach Andy, I followed Andy's program last year. Oh, I did mention that his stuff works. I love it. You guys, I totally appreciate you. Kara, where is the start of the salary questions? Wait, Vasu, I'm assuming Vasu was asking how to practice this important skill. Was that back on the interviewing, on the car technique? Vasu, tell you what, can you just email Kara and say, Andy read my question out loud and told me that he wants you to give me a free interview intervention course. So just head over to Kara, and she's just going to give you the interview intervention program, and I just appreciate you showing up. So enjoy that. Ferdinand, how do I ensure that I receive the higher end of the salary when the headhunter asks what the lowest is I can go salary-wise? This is my burning question. Ferdinand, I'm going to answer you, but before I forget, will you please email Kara and have her send you a salary negotiation workshop? If you just get this product here, I'm going to give you this $800 product free. This is the salary negotiation workshop. We want to position you for success. This is about going through the interviewing process effectively. We want you to prepare for your negotiation. I didn't get into a lot of this, but you're going to make sure that you have information that you need in order to effectively discuss their offer and position yourself for the most effective counter offer. Then I'm going to teach you exactly how to conduct the counter offer. I'm going to teach you how to handle the entire interviewing processes with multiple employers. And I'm going to also talk to you about how you move those 5 variables I talked about earlier today. So please do that. It is my honor to give that to you for free. And when an executive recruiter wants to know a couple of things. They want to know your absolute floor, because what they want to do is they want to turn to their client and they want to say, if you can't even get it here, he's not even going to look at you. Meaning, don't bother. Save yourself the paperwork. The executive recruiter should have asked you, what's the absolute number you want that you will be doing backflips, your no-brainer number. If they give me this, my answer is immediately yes. Where do I sign? Up top. And then, where probably do you want to be? And they want to know that so they can have an effective discussion with their client. And so what you can say to the headhunter is, it isn't necessarily about how low I would go. It's I really feel like for a total cash compensation, a total target cash compensation, that I would want to be somewhere in this neighborhood, but I would really need to see the whole thing, right? Because I don't want you, when you watch the salary negotiation workshop, you're going to understand exactly how to communicate with that recruiter. But check that out. Alina is it Baldwin or Baldwina? I don't know if that was stuck together. A job I'm looking at already posted the pay range 50 to 90K. I'm very well suited. Can I just ask for 95? Why not ask for 105? I'm not being funny. Why not ask for 115? don't, I wish, I know you're all going to say, oh, it saves me so much time because they posted the rate and then it saves me so I don't have to look at it. I don't care about what they posted. That's 100% variability. 50 to 95 is 95% literally variability, 90%. So that means they can go higher. And if you go back and you look at, for any of you that have the salary negotiation workshop, we teach you how to put together what we call the salary grid. And it is an extension of the key success factors I told you about in this talk. And there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that you can go back and ask for 95 or more. But there's a way that you want to ask for that. And before you can ask for anything, I would want to make sure that you justify why you're worth 95. So my answer is yes, 100%. You don't tell them anything in the beginning of the interviewing process. You wait all the way till your stock is highest and you've had a chance to actually make your argument about why you're worth what you're worth. And until that point, there's no reason to tell them any number. There's no reason for you to go to the first interview and say, well, it's going to take at least 95. And I don't think that's what you're asking me, but I want to make sure that you know that. I would not be discussing any of this. And Alina, I don't know how many of my salary negotiation videos you've seen, the ones on YouTube, but I would check out the playlist. There's a lot in there. Lisa Williams, this is the absolute, if the employer says this is the absolute max we can pay you and it is lower than what you want, what should you consider when deciding if you will take the job or walk away? Okay, so couple of things. Number one, if the employer says this is the max I can pay you and you're talking about any time before you've made a counteroffer. Before you've made the counteroffer, I ignore it. Okay, when I make my counteroffer, I don't care what you've said to me before. I'm making my offer. This is what I'm worth. This is why I'm worth it. Is there a way you can get me to this? You have the language because you're a boot camper and you have the salary negotiation workshop and you have all the language I want you to use. When you are negotiating, remember this, folks, this is a cold splash of water. It may sound cold, but if you are in a negotiation or what you think is a negotiation and you cannot walk away, you are not in a negotiation. You're just arranging the terms of your captivity. So when you say, what's the deciding factor, then I'm going to turn to you and I'm going to say, what are your requirements? I look at everything holistically. There's how much I get paid, the bonus, the benefits, the vacation, and all that stuff. That's just one little component of the whole thing. What do you get to do? Who's the company? Are you going to learn? Are you going to be valued? Can you walk out your door and walk across the street and there's your, maybe that's meaningful to you. It's your requirements. That's session 1, sentence 1, chapter 1, word 1 of the boot camp for you. So there's only your requirements can determine it. But if the question is, well, how high can I push them? Well, that's up to you. There is no such thing as too high. You might want this truly, and they say we just can't meet that, so we're going to walk away. Fine. If you can't meet that, and I'm putting my heels in the ground, fine. I'm cool with that. I totally support you. But if you're stretching what you really want because you think they're going to fall short, that's bad. That's bad negotiating. But that's not what you're asking me. So you got all the assets. You know what to do. Word dog 50 plus. AI is now handling or soon will a lot of what I do. At what point in an interview do I inquire about a potential employer's use of AI? Although I guess I wouldn't be there. Wasn't a job. I'm assuming you mean, although I guess I wouldn't be there if there wasn't a job. So, word dog, I'm all about how are you doing this now? How are you positioned for growth? What improvements to these processes do you think you're going to make with the onset of new technology like AI and other tools that can generate copywriting or whatever it might be that your websites that you're working on? Like I said in my example, right? I was paying like almost $100,000 to 2 people, meaning combined, to do something that now we have a $300 a year system or $400 a year system, whatever it is, that does it. And trust me, I love the employees, but there's no way then I'm going to have to rearrange where they're going to focus, right? I'm going to have to go move them to something else. So what areas do you focus on that require this to make it a better product? And that's what I would be investigating with them. What's the opportunity in a few years from now? And how do you foresee the work changing with the onset of these tools? That's okay to ask. I would ask that to the hiring official in the first interview. Philip Arby, if you negotiate a higher base salary in a sales job, does this put a bigger target on your back? Yes, it does. I'm paying you more guaranteed money, which means my patience is lower. See, so now remember, you're justifying why you're worth a higher steady pay. In sales, a person that's unwilling to bet on themselves is not a person for me. Now, I know you, and I'm not saying let's be that dismissive. I'm saying to you, I want to hire the salesperson that says, I want more commission. I want bonuses in stock. I want, right? Because I'm going to crush it. Now, I'm perfectly okay with if you are in sales and you are transitioning to a new organization. Salespeople have a problem that no one else has. They have recurring compensation that they walk away from. If I've created a pipeline of customers and I have an ongoing either renewals, subscriptions, book of business, or whatever, and I know I'm going to be getting commissions in the next 6 months that I've already earned, and I'm going to lose 10 grand in commissions a month, 60 grand, let's say. And if I walk away, they're paying me an 80K salary, you're paying me an 80K salary, and now I got to spend 6 months rebuilding my book of business, and I'm walking away from the 60 bones. You, part sign-on bonus, part non-recoverable draw or non-recoverable commissions. So meaning you're going to give me $5K a month. You're going to give me a $30K sign-on bonus to cover my back end. Then you're going to give me $5K a month for the next 6 months to give me the runway, and you're going to overpay up front because this is the cost of doing business with a salesperson. So there are other ways to do that I don't think will put a target on your back. That's kind of understood business. And every salesperson we ever negotiated for always had that. They always got that stuff. And most of the time, their commissions in the first year were not built on revenue, but on logos and sales in general, because we wanted to foster the proper behavior as opposed to put pressure on them that was unrealistic. And there was a lot that they weren't going to earn in the first year, and we wanted to incent. Remember something, compensation is designed to incent the behavior the employer wants you to have. If they're doing it right, the behavior they're incenting in you is in alignment with the strategy and the goals that the employer wants and your goals. The minute I start paying you to do things that are not in alignment with the strategy, or that you don't want to be doing, or you're doing something to get money that isn't in alignment with my strategy or goals, that's all bad. So when you walk in the door and I know you need to build your book of business, and I know it's going to take 6 months for you to do that, and I know your commission checks are going to be non-existent for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months or longer, I just want to make sure that I made a good hire. So I want to incent you based on how many calls you make in a week that are turning into meetings, proposals. Are we getting swings at the plate? Are you doing the right things? Did you get a client that even though your commissions are going to be late, I'm going to give you an upfront spiff or bonus or cash comp of some kind that says, you got the logo, bang, here's 5 grand, right? And because that's how I want to incent you in year one. So there's a million ways to create comp structures for salespeople that you could try to take advantage of. So instead of putting the target on your back, I never wanted the salesperson that I placed at a client to have a target on their back. I'd say, work with my client, I'd say, year one comp needs to be different than everybody else's comp, right? Meaning it's not a straight line commission. It's you want to incent the behaviors. So that's the way I would do that. Drew, what should we put in job application for salary? I usually put negotiable, but I've heard recruiters might think I'm wasting their time and move on. Also, some only allow dollar amounts. Great question. First thing is, if it's an open field, put open or negotiable. Recruiters don't care. They get it. If it's a required field and it's a required numerical field, meaning you can't put letters, then you could put $1, which they know means open or negotiable. It doesn't mean $1. That's fine. If there's a drop down that says 49,999 or whatever, 50,000 to 54,999, 55,000 to 55,999, and so on, just select something that's near what you're currently earning and don't bother explaining it. Just put it there. And if the recruiter then in the screen says, hey, Drew, I see you put, just say, oh yeah, I just put something I thought was reasonable. I really need to learn more about what the opportunity is, what I get to do, who I get to do it with. Sure, money is good and more is always nice, but there's a lot more to it that's important to me, so on and so forth. I've given you a million scripts on this one. So that's that one. Gathering Rust Hobby Farm. I am going to take all of the videos you have provided into my final interviews at headquarters next week. Would you recommend negotiating via email, phone, or in person? This is a fantastic question. And I have a very, very strong recommendation here. And this is, I'm telling you, as somebody who has placed more than 600 people individually as a recruiter at clients, somebody who's coached. I coach on average 500 people a year. 25% of them are salary negotiations, at least. That's every year, year in, year out. There's thousands of these that I've done. There's over 1,600 data points. I'm telling you, never, and I mean never, negotiate anything in email, ever. The best way to do it is in person. I understand that's not practical all the time. The next best thing is a Zoom or a video chat cam, whatever, video interaction. Phone is then the next best, but never put anything in email. No questions, no how about this much money, no questions about vacation days, what do we trade this out, this and that. Again, there's absolutely no way that I'm fully going to understand or that you can effectively negotiate by emailing back and forth. When you write something and I read it, what I'm doing at the moment affects how I read it, whether I'm having a good day, a good night's sleep, or whether I'm pissed at somebody. I have my belief template, my experience. So you're asking me a question. I immediately assume, based on my history, why you want to know what you want to know because of why I would want to know what you just asked me. Now I might be thinking, oh man, he's going to be worried, and if he doesn't get that, he's going to leave, and I'm wondering why he wants that. Why is it so important to, do this or that? You do not want them going through any of this. And it's an ineffective way to actually exchange information. And there's a sequencing that I want you to go through when you're actually discussing an offer and when you're making your counteroffer. And the other thing is, if you've ever heard of Albert Morabian, he has a personal rule of communication, and 7% of the communication exchange is through the words that you use. 38% is through your tone or intonation, and 55% is your body language. You have 93% not at your disposal at the time you're negotiating one of the most critical choices of your life, one of the five most stressful actions you can take, next to marriage, birth, moving, death. So I would not be leaving it to email. Verbalize live, real time, so that you can immediately clarify. Enough on that. Marty, if the JD claims to a bachelor's degree is required for the role, though my work experience is vastly more relevant, does this undercut my ability to negotiate my salary? Absolutely not. Your salary negotiation and your leverage and your power comes from here and nowhere else. I don't care if you have an MBA. I don't care if you have a degree or not. I don't care about any of that stuff. I understand employers will put that on the job description. I understand that some employers might have a different view of the world than I do. That's okay. I'm telling you, as an executive recruiter, we recruited for over 200 companies in the lifespan of Mile Walk Inc. In the entire 15 years of that, there was one and only one company that required an actual college degree. And we would place six-figure people in hire. One company was whacked out on education, and you absolutely had to have a degree. Now, a lot of the people we placed happened to have degrees, but a lot of them didn't. And the clients didn't care. If you could do it, you could do it. So again, don't make assumptions about anything. Assumptions are not your friend when it comes to jobs, salary negotiation, or any of that. And it doesn't matter to me that you have a degree, because somebody who has a degree, Marty, is, I mean, I don't care about that. It's the stories you've told me, the experience you have, how exactly you're going to help me achieve my goal. I want that person. I don't care what school you went to or if you went to school. Yang Kai Wong, how are you? Thanks for your guidance. You're welcome. Thanks to you, I got a follow-up interview. The interviewer ran out of time in the first round. Worried I am not doing your teachings justice, and you have it this Thursday. I'm wishing you luck. And, so folks, okay, wait. I get amped up about some of these things because I want you to do well. Any dumpy coach can teach you the steps. Any dumpy coach can watch my videos and just repeat them to you. They could. I don't come here each day, each week, and all the consistency in which I meet with you because I want you to follow exactly what I'm saying down to the T, right? Down to the letter. Dot the I's, cross the T's, do step 1, step 2, step 3. I am trying to give you formulas that you can take, that if you just do your best to put them in practice so that they give you more confidence to go out and grab what you want. And I want to either push you over the line. If you were reluctant, can I get you in motion? If you had to do it anyway, like job searching, because you need a job, I know that, you got to do it. Can I get you to do it with more vigor? Can I get you to feel better about yourself so that you'll go out and you'll grab it? That's all I care about. I want to inspire you to take the step, because believe me, job interviewing, salary negotiation, all that stuff has absolutely nothing to do with how well you do your job, right? I just got done saying in the early part of the session that interviewing is about storytelling. That's a skill. That's a completely different skill than 99% of you have. You make the widgets, you count for the books, maybe you market the products or build the websites or build the semiconductors, or maybe you sell the services or whatever it is. Storytelling takes practice. And so it isn't about doing my teachings justice. I just want you to be happy. So I just want to give you the tools to get you over the goal line and inspire you to take the steps. And I appreciate you saying that. How we doing on time? Kara, how we doing? Okay, remember, everything's on sale this week. Tomorrow, I'm sending you a video on why now is a great time to job search. And everything's on special. If you got any questions, email support@milewalk.com. If I was giving away, Andy Claus was giving away the stuff, email Kara, support@milewalk.com. She'll help you with that. Remember, this little beauty, I'll ship it anywhere in the world, $7. This guy, it's a really good career development book. This one you got to get from the retailers. The Zebra Code, I think it's now like $23 for the hardbound on Amazon. I think the audiobook's $17.46, and I think the ebook is $14.99. And we do have a Zebra Code book club that's free with like $1,000 of leadership lessons. Make sure you grab it. All right. Nameless 2. I work hard in my current job, but I don't get paid what I think I deserve. There are people on our team that have less experience and do less than what I do. Still, they make more money. Any advice? Okay. This is a great question. The first thing is that there are many reasons that compensation can get out of whack. Okay. And when you've been at an employer for a while, what often happens is they give you some kind of pay increases. Most employers, not all, will give you modest increases, and right, and as long as you're happy and you're not making waves, and they think everything is fine. When they have to hire somebody from the outside, oftentimes to get the equivalent person skill set wise, application of those skill set wise, they have to pay more money, usually. Not always, sometimes less, but usually more, even though that person is walking in with far less experience than you have at your current company, far less loyalty because they have 0 hours in the field as you do. And what happens over time, depending on how long you've been somewhere, is that can become really out of whack. So one of the things that I would encourage you to do is I would not make an argument that other people get paid more than I do. I would still go back to what is it that I'm doing? How is it that I'm contributing? What's the value I'm creating? And I would focus on that. And I would say to my manager, my employer, look, I've been here X number of years. I really love this place. Don't say, hey, I've been a loyal soldier and all that. They know that. Just say, hold on. Back here. Come here. Rock. Get back there. Sorry, UPS guy dropping something off. Harley, hold on. Sorry, folks. My two little ones I have control over, but my nearly 18-year-old Harley is deaf and I can't get his attention. Oh, God. Yeah, the UPS guy's dropping something off that I know I immediately have to return. It's such a bummer. Okay, let's see. Where was I? Okay, let me leave you with this, Nameless 2. I do have some videos on my YouTube channel about how to ask for a pay raise, how to ask for a pay raise when you get more responsibilities. And I have a few of them in this family of issue that you have. So check those out as well. Okay, what's next? Philip Arby, I have an in-person interview at a coffee shop. Do you recommend laying out my research notes so the interviewer can see? Yes. Just pull out, just pull out a portfolio and just leave it down there. And I tend to have everything organized and sectioned, like whatever my packet is. You don't have to glance at it, but just I would bring a portfolio or whatever you have. So for me, when I take notes, this planner, I never take notes in the planner. The planner itself is for dates, times, my inventory of activities, deliverables, those kind of things. When I do coaching sessions or if I go to a meeting, I have a booklet like this that I will use because it's the easiest and least distracted. And I want to rip the pages and then they're going to have to go wherever they're going to have to go when I'm done. So this could be in a portfolio or it could be in a case or it could be, or you just pull this out. If there's other things, you could put them next to it, underneath it or whatever. If you feel like it's something you might need to reference, you don't even have to say I'm going to reference it and just put it out there. I tend to take all the physical advantages possible. I would. Let's see. Robert Gates, how old is too old for a story to tell in an interview? There's a balance. So in the interview intervention training program, I go to great lengths to break down the pecking order in story choosing, meaning some people say, well, I feel like I should tell a story from my most recent employer. And I say, why? Why not tell the story that most closely will align to what it is they need you to do? Now, I don't care how far back you go, because let's say you worked for a company and this company that you worked at between 2010 and 2015 was exactly like the company you're about to go to, or the problem was the exact same, or the system was the exact same, or the organization was exactly the same, or whatever. And then you have 9 years or 10 years where you've had 2 or 3 companies and they weren't really anywhere near what this other one was as far as alignment. As long as the story is really analogous, meaning if you're trying to explain to me how you programmed in COBOL in 1989 and how you made this system this way when I'm looking at completely different types of languages and other things, it's probably not the greatest story. So it isn't so much how far back you go, it's how closely aligned is the content in the story that's going to illustrate for them and connect the dots for them, that you know exactly what you're doing and will know in their environment. If you're bringing out archaic words, archaic technologies, archaic processes, that's bad. And somebody asked me yesterday about being older, like over 60. And I would say the same thing. And I don't know if I mentioned this when I gave that answer, but it's the vernacular you use. Are you using current terminology? That's what makes you look old, is if you're telling stories about stuff that like are, being sunset. So you just want to be careful. So it isn't really about how old it is. It's about the relevance. So relevance beats recency. Let's see. Claudia, what if we only really want to work in one type of segment and there are a lot of companies to go after there? Are you getting, and you are getting good responses from there? Should you still send to other segments? No. Claudia, what do I always say? I know you come to the shows. I know you're here enough. What do I want to happen? How do I make that happen? What I laid out yesterday was for those people. So wait, I love to hear that. I would love for all of you to say, I know my niche, whatever I want to say it. I'm going. Awesome. And if you're getting results, awesome. Then you don't need to change anything, because then it's just a matter of time and hitting the right one. But for those that aren't getting results and they're wondering why, I want to make sure that they can find their hot area. Claudia, I know you're a boot camper, but I don't think you're in the leadership program. Let's give you a year in the leadership program, shall we? Claudia, see Kara, support@malwalk.com. Thanks for playing. All right, what else? Miglena, the position I am applying for is more people-oriented and need leadership skills. So no sales, numbers, percentage, how to present those skills and experiences with your approach. Okay. Now, I wish I don't know if I hope you're still here. What is the position that you're actually applying for? Because you said it's more people-oriented. I don't know what that means. Meaning, are you saying, well, I support, wait, you know what? I'm not even going to start venturing. If you can tell me what the function is that you're applying for, I can tell you how to apply my approach and my experience. Because like the people-oriented stuff, like, well, everything is people-oriented. Everybody is required to be a great team member. Everybody is required to inspire their staff. You could be an HR person. That's a very people-oriented function. So you could be a trainer that's training the staff. If you could let me know what the function is, I could be much more specific about which of the great 8 elements or accomplishments that I would go after. Is it because Andy drinks tea? Okay, so wait. So I drink coffee and I love coffee. I don't get headaches or anything. If I don't have coffee, it's fine. But I like coffee in the morning. When I do the shows, I always drink tea, and it feels a little better on the throat. And it's I don't know why I do that, because the shows are at 11. So I've drank all the coffee already. So that's why I drink the tea. I don't know if anybody I don't know what that was. I don't know. Is there any little things you want to know about me? You just ask. Okay. All right. Jane Wang, how are you? I have a job title, lead system analyst, but all I do is that of a senior programmer. What to do if I am a senior software engineer? What to do if I aim for a senior software engineer position? Any employment verification will tell the truth in the end. I would not worry the least about that. Your one company's senior programmer is another company's senior software engineer. I would not even worry about that. I literally would not worry, non-issue. Chris Carollo, the handsome Carollo brother. Wait, is Steve here? Apparently, Chris got the looks and the humor and is the funny one and the smart one. So I'm wondering what Steve got in the deal. Steve, are you here, Steve? I don't know if Steve's here, but Chris, since you're here and you're a boot camper, it is an awesome program, well worth the money because it gives you so much information and tactics new to the program and just finished the boot camp, job search challenge, and resume build. Awesome. I love it. I'm glad you're enjoying it, buddy. TJ, Andy sounds like others are answering job ads. Yes. Does boss hunting include contacting the hiring manager directly, or is it only reaching out to without an open role? Fantastic question. TJ, job search challenge over to Kara. Make sure you get that $500 product. You hit the buzzer. All right. So a couple things. Boss hunting is literally, like, let's be literal. Boss hunting is boss hunting, meaning you're targeting the boss. It doesn't matter if they have an open position that you know, and it's fine to reference it if you do. Like, hey, I saw this position. I noticed you might be the boss. That's cool. Or, hey, Andy, I love you at Mile Walk, and I love your mission and blah, blah, blah. I want to work with you. Here's what I offer. But you got to know that you have something I need. That's okay too. We call that a no job opening tactic. It's both. The boss hunting is just get to the boss. And what you're going to say is going to be a little different whether you know there's an opening or not. But if you're a salesperson and you sell software as a services and consulting services related to them, and you're going at a SaaS company and you're going after the senior vice president of sales or the VP of sales, you know they need you, right? You know they hire people like you. You go. Good question. Get that job search challenge, baby. Vivian, how do you handle bad interviewers who don't have any questions after tell me about yourself? That doesn't make them bad people. It doesn't make them bad interviewers. Whoever talks more in the interview thinks it went better. So if you're telling me on the one hand, because this wasn't clear, that the interviewer did a lot of talking, that's okay. Let them talk. And then eventually they'll run out of breath and you can say to them, thank you so much for sharing all that information. It's so helpful to understand more about your company. I'd love to share anything about myself that I can that might help you make a good decision about whether I'm a great fit. Is there anything in particular you want to talk about or something like that? You're basically intercepting them. If you're telling me, which I don't really think this is what you're saying, that they don't have any questions, I'm not sure that they're just going to sit there quietly. There's going to be some exchange. So I'm assuming that that's what you meant. Okay. And then Vasu, what is your book club community? Okay. You know what? Thank you for asking. And for those of you that are not familiar, I have this book, which I've launched in August. It came out August 6th, so a few months ago. And this book, Interview Intervention, is about interviewing. I have The Hiring Prophecies, which is about hiring. And I have Out of Reach but Insight, Using Goals to Achieve Your Impossible, which is a goal-setting book. This book is my leadership coaching methodology wrapped in a book. It teaches you the different evolutions to how pretty much a white-collar professional, but really anybody, goes through life, through their career, and what skills to develop and the sequence to develop them in and how to actually develop them. And then there's 15 lessons inside the book. And then there's the back little portion of the book teaches you how to develop your career plan and operate it and all that good stuff. When the Zebra Code came out, I created this book club for people to, kind of get excited about the club. And if Kara can put it in the chat. And if you head to this page, there's a video explaining the club. You basically just buy a copy, any copy of the Zebra Code, go in there and drop in your information and your book order number and all that good stuff. And then I give you video lessons. And we did a dozen or so of those live group coaching sessions. But basically, these lessons here are lessons out of my leadership coaching program, and we put them in a private community that we called the book club. And then we got together all of these dates. And so those coaching replays on different topics are in there. And you could look and see, whoever you are, how the book contributes to your professional development. There's some podcasts and things that I did to promote the book, and I was on TV and some of that other stuff and podcasts and things like that. And you can get a bird's eye view of what's inside the book and how it'll help you. And there's a whole bunch of nice people talking about stuff. This is me signing a bunch of copies. Anyway, when you grab the book, you can jump in that for free. And one of the, let me see if I could do this very quickly. Inside oh, we have some more wins. Let's see who's winning. Karen Marino. Accepted an offer. You didn't see that one yesterday. Carlos, you didn't see that one yesterday. Carlos is in the UK. He had a coaching session with me. He's awesome. I call him James Bond. But anyway, there's a Zebra Code book club. And in the Zebra Code book club, there's these video lessons that you can actually watch. These are sessions out of my leadership coaching program, and I give this to you all for free. So if you really want a taste of this stuff, there's challenges that we circulated by topic, and so it's literally free to get in that. All you need is a book to read, and so that's my book club, and we've been having a ton of fun with it. And we were really active with the live group coaching sessions throughout the summer because I was trying to build interest for when the book was launched. But for anybody who buys the book, I want you to have more assets at your disposal to develop your career. So I give you a bunch of those free. It's like $1,000 worth of lessons that you can grab. And that's inside the private group community, and you would need access to that space, which you would get after you join the book club. So thank you, Vasu, for asking. And Vasu, if you do not have a Zebra Code book, I think maybe we need to send you one for free on me. Then when you can get the book, and then you can join the book club for free. How about that? Okay, for just asking the question. I love questions. All right. Where did I leave off? How are we doing on time? Still got 9 minutes, folks. Get your questions in. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to share it because people need help. Make sure to buy the Zebra Code book. Make sure to join the Zebra Code book club. Kara, can we get that? Can we get that in the chat? I don't know if you dropped the zebra. Maybe you did that already. There, she did the thing with the zebra. Yeah, it's free to join. All we ask is that you get a book and then you put your order number in, and then Kara can check to see if it's a legit order number. And then if it's not, she's got to send you an email. So please don't do that. All right. But I know everybody's on their honor. All right. What else? AP, I had my last interview round last week. The recruiter said she's going to call me this afternoon. I'm assuming it's to discuss an offer. Is it okay to discuss salary details on the call? I would not. What I would do is if she has an offer, you know what, AP, will you just take my salary negotiation workshop? Can we get AP over to Kara, support@milewalk.com, take this salary negotiation workshop. And what I want you to do is I want you to go into this area here. And I want skip the positioning yourself. Go right into the prepare for your negotiation, where you're going to identify your questions, you're going to identify your value, and you're going to make sure you know how to answer questions. I want you to do this. I want you to do this before you make a counteroffer. If the recruiter calls you and says, "Hey, AP, we love you. We want to make sure that we give you a good offer. What do you want?" I want you to say, "I'm sure you'll make me a good offer. I don't really understand, all the compensation components. Why don't you put something together and let's discuss it, and then we can go from there." You want to make sure that, again, you're not assuming how much they can pay you. When they ask you what it is that you want and you give them a range, you just killed yourself and made an assumption about what they can pay. I don't want you to do that. And I don't want to go into thousands of stories that I have about people who did this and sold themselves way short. So I want you to take my salary negotiation workshop. I want you to go binge watch some Andy talking about money, and I want you to get ready. And then just remember, if she connects with you, just say, I'm receptive to an offer. You know, if she socializes the offer and she says, hey, we're thinking 100 grand, 10% bonus, blah, 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 say, tell you what, you know, can I see the whole offer? You want to make sure that you're looking at everything before you start asking all your questions. And when you ask your questions, you're gathering intel to know exactly how to counteroffer. There's a real process to this. So why don't you try that? I don't know. Oh, you have access to the salary negotiation. Okay, AP. Then check that out. And good luck and congratulations. Hopefully, got my fingers crossed. Let's see. Money Dolphin 21. With your background previously as a tech consultant, how can I use your job interview steps during an interview as an IT auditor? Question. My background as a tech consultant has nothing to do with my methodology of how I'm training you to tell a story. So whether you're an IT auditor or whether you're an engineer or whether you're a marketer or an accountant or whomever, the process, the card technique is the same. The IT auditing aspect of what you do as an IT auditor, what are the goals of an IT auditor? So what is it that you're doing? Are you looking at the project to ensure compliance with, and it could be anything. It could be the solution itself. You could be auditing the budgets, the actuals, and the financial spend. You could be auditing the realization of the benefits and the capitalization of. There's many things an IT auditor can do depending on what your background is and if you're financially savvy or if that's part of the scope of your job. It doesn't make any difference to me. You're all about ensuring fiscally smart, financially profitable solutions, and you audit them to create data to ensure they are in compliance with. They're either in compliance with the way they're run or built, they're financially sound. These are benefits to what you're doing. So the stories you want to tell are based on the goals that you're trying to achieve as an auditor. Each company's IT auditing department is a little bit different as far as what their goals are, but I gave you a few or three right there. You're going to pick stories around that, because you're interviewing for an auditing position. So you're going to start out with, we were not compliant with, or I needed to ensure that the product, we were running IT projects that were constantly over budget. Our over budget average was, that could be a story. It could be, we were implementing IT solutions that weren't in legal compliance with. That could be a story. It depends which aspect that you're signing up for in your new company or your new role. But it's the same thing that I taught you today. T. Williams, my job title confuses potential employers. Can I leave it off or change it to something they'll understand? Yes, either is okay. And you know what? Since we're running so short on time, T. Williams, and I would love to regale you with the 7 or 8 different ways you can do this, can you just email Kara and get a resume writing workshop? A resume writing workshop for you that's a free, well, I guess it's a $500 value. And enjoy and look at where I talk about all the exceptions. And Loretto, Andy, can you please talk about your personalized job search coaching offer? So when you say personalized job search coaching offer, I'm wondering, do you mean my time? So one of the things that, let me see if I can pull that back up. So I have a job search coaching program, and thank you for asking me this. I have a job search coaching program, and the program itself is it is an entire universe of all the job search assets that you would ever need to find your dream job. To get a bird's eye view, it's broken down into 5 main modules. That's called the boot camp. There's tools and templates, everything you need. There's lifetime access and online support, and there's lifetime group coaching support. The stages of any job search are about positioning yourself for success, marketing yourself. That's resume writing, cover letters, LinkedIn profile. There's the job searching, which we touched a little on, but that was a sliver of everything you need, interviewing, negotiation, and so on. When you get into this program, you get a number of things, but the one thing I probably can do for you quickly is show you there's a self-study package, which there's no reason to buy right now. There's an interactive package, and interactive means in addition to all the online assets, you also get the live group coaching, like what we're going to be doing Thursday and Friday. And we do about 30 of those a year. We get together about 30 times a year, so you can come to those forever and ever, and you never need any subscription. You have online support where you can ask me questions in a system, and you also have access to Andy AI. The VIPs get a full-blown marketing review where I actually create a video for you where you write your resume. I look at your resume. I look at your cover letter. I look at your LinkedIn profile. I edit all the stuff, and then I shoot you a video that you can keep. That's a complete portfolio review. You also get included a one-on-one coaching session with me. You get all the other stuff, and you get some extra bonuses. The Career Accelerator bonus is kind of a nice bonus, but all that comes in the VIP program. Anybody who joins this program at any time can get a resume review from me and a one-to-one coaching session if they enroll separately, meaning these are where I would get together with you one-to-one and we would go over your specific needs. So sometimes people want to talk to me because they're struggling with their direction or their traction. Other times they want me to prepare them for an interview. Sometimes they want me to negotiate their salary with them or help them understand how to negotiate their salary. You could use it however you want, but that's a separate enrollment. And then the other thing I mentioned was that if you own any of the Mile Walk Academy job searching products, I will give you credit. Now, one thing, let me see if I can do this very quickly because it might be easier for me to show you kind of a breakdown of what's inside this. And this is what I just told you. It's recorded, it's self-paced. You get lifetime access, you get the community and all that good stuff. You also can access me for those kinds of things. But this is what you're getting. So when you sign up for the job search coaching program, you get all of those things. So that's what your $997 includes. So everything in there is available to you. And if you have any of those programs, you can trade it up. If I gifted you those programs and you've not spent any money in the Mile Walk Academy, you can cash in that shit for $100 more off your program. Off the price. And then, this was a couple of weeks ago. Well, you don't even see that. So this is the breakdown. Everything is all recorded, and any enrollment option will give you that. The online support is for the interactive service and the VIP package. So right now, with the $300 off, instead of $1,297, you pay $997, and you'll get all that. You get the group coaching sessions. The one-to-one sessions are an extra service fee. Anything that requires my individual time, meaning you and me working together. But if you get a coaching session, we record it for you. We transcribe it for you. It's really, really helpful. But the VIP pack includes that. The resume review, same kind of thing. The full marketing review, same kind of thing, is for the VIP only. But all those point solutions are everywhere. And then the Career Accelerator is really only for the VIPs. So that's an overview. So when you talk about personalized coaching, if you're talking about needing a one-to-one session with me, I have a full-blown $5,000 program. That's different. The best and smartest and most economical for most people, not all, is enrolling in the job search coaching program that I just showed you, and then on an a la carte basis, get those individual coaching sessions on an as needed basis. And each of those are either $595, or you can take advantage of a $50 off discount if you enroll in one of those at checkout, if you buy the interactive service package. If you're in the VIP package, you get a coaching session with me. So there's no reason to buy extras Let's see how it goes. A lot of people just need one, but it depends. I hope that clarified what you were asking. Okay, wait. I love that you did ask me that, and I totally appreciate you asking me and giving me a chance to show it to you. All of these things are on sale all week, and I didn't even get into a lot of the leadership coaching stuff. Things are on sale too. Tomorrow, I'm going to be sending you a video about why now is a great time to job search or find your job. Thursday at 11 a.m., Friday at 11 a.m. I'm with members of my job search coaching program. So those boot campers that have the interactive service and VIP packages, you can join us on Thursday and Friday. If you can't make it, those are going to be recorded and put in your library. So I hope that helps. I have absolutely loved these couple of sessions. They'll stay up on my YouTube channel, so you can catch them over and over. I hope everybody has a great week, has a great hiring frenzy season, and I'll be in normal show schedule next Thursday after, whatever it is, up until Thanksgiving. But I am going to be meeting with the boot campers on Thursday and Friday. So this week my freemiums were today and yesterday, and then next week I'll be back on Thursday, a week from Thursday. So love you all. Thank you so much for spending so much time with me these last couple days. I really hope it was helpful. Again, you got this. You can do it. Companies are hiring. Get out there, get in motion, stay in motion. An object in motion is easier to redirect than a stationary one. Get after it. I know you can do it. I really do. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.